Welcome everybody. 22nd of August 2025, 7:15 in the evening. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Let's get right to it. Because again, called Clown Planet for a reason. It also happens in church-related news. From the Denver Post, petitioners challenge priest at Catholic Church in Denver, alleging loss of psychological safety. Rift within Most Precious Blood Church fuels petition calling for Archbishop to address Father Ciucci's leadership. Why? Because he's preaching the Catholic faith. It's literally because he's preaching on salvation, hell, don't sin, things like that. You'll laugh if you get that. Everything's underneath in the show notes already. So go ahead and take a look. They interviewed a bunch of people that were pretty much older, 50 and 60 years old. We were patient with all the changes, with the new style leadership, with the bumps in the road. But after your Easter Sunday vigil, I decided I could no longer attempt to worship with you and tolerate your public shaming, your inflection of guilt, and your accusatory style. That was written by Michelle Voigt, who wrote because of the Easter homily. Here's the Easter homily. You right click on there. I listened to it. It's kind of I've seen this happen before with others. It's kind of comical to see the liberals get all upset about this. Let's see what else. There's another one. Thomas 71 started attending Most Precious Blood in 2005. It was kind of a parish that made him proud to be a man of faith. Quote, it was a welcoming environment. All are welcomed. Thomas said he believes Aquila, known for his conservative theology, wanted to change the tone of the church and brought in Father, who was a few years out from Denver's St. John Vianney's Theological Seminary. Great, cool seminary out there. They do some good stuff out there. It appeared I lived out there for 4 years. I've been there. It appeared he was going to try the rest of the way from its liberal stance back to its pre-Vatican II ideology, Thomas said of the Archbishop. I always think someone would tell Mr. Thomas, Jesus Christ is pre-Vatican II. With Daniel, it was more about making us feel bad, regret, and penance and guilt, Thomas said. He came in with all this hellfire and damnation stuff. He came in talking this Catholic stuff. I don't know. Janet Dvorak, 88, is a lifelong Catholic. Right there. Full stop. It's going to get bad. Who says she found peace in Most Precious Blood when she began attending in the late 1970s. You don't say. Father's tenure caused her to find a new spiritual home shortly after he started. I love the church. It is wonderful. It is community. It is understanding. It is patient. It is tolerant about everything that the Catholic faith doesn't teach. Sorry, my commentary went on the last part. Said she and Father had communication problems and even met to discuss their disagreements. She doesn't think the pastor is the problem. The archdiocese is the problem. Father has been given power and authority that he does not know how to use. Go and he actually here's the sermon. I thought I had the sermon. Here it is right here. Why is hell welcoming? Here's the top. He posted this up. Father did. This is great. Postchange.org petition. So he addresses all these guys. Here's the full text. You can drop it down if you want. It is fantastic. I wrote him saying, we're behind, prayers for you. We're behind you. It is hysterical to see this go down. Liberal, as they say, I don't want to use the word boomers, but okay, liberal people that helped bring down the church and rejected church teaching is upset that a priest is coming in and preaching Catholicism. That happened in Boone. A good priest friend of mine did that, and he pretty much ran them all out to the point when TC came in, they were interviewed by the Boone newspaper, and one of the quotes was in there going, "Do we get our church back?" They hated Catholicism so much they wanted to just be Catholic in name only. U.S. to build $750 billion Texas plant to stop New World Screwworm. That's right, New World Screwworm. Apparently, it's a screwworm that's affecting. It's a sterile fly. They invest hundreds of millions of dollars to build a sterile fly production facility in Texas in an effort to protect cattle from flesh-eating parasite. And that's the screwworm. I think there's a, let's see, it comes from the fly. I think they don't have I thought they had a little thing. It's an ugly looking thing. What really happened in Alaska from the cradle.co. If you want to read it, check it out below in the show notes. In a nutshell, not much of a lot, as you'll see going on. But the Putin-Trump meeting dropped some important veils. It revealed that Washington views Russia as a peer power and that Europe is little more than a useful American tool. This is by Pepe Escobar, who's on Judge Napolitano's show quite a lot. Great, cool to listen to. Here's from the Ron Paul Institute. Israel has been killing nearly 9 non-combatants for every 1 militant, and American taxpayers have paid for it. From RT, Putin reveals talks with U.S. on cooperation in the Arctic and Alaska. Quote, the Arctic zone contains the world's vast reserves of mineral resources. Russia ahead of rivals since it's already active there. There's something about that is kind of is weird. Here's one right here. They keep on talking about this new magnetic pole shift model. I know nothing about all this, but Russia has been moving a lot of stuff into Siberia, asking people to live in Siberia. They're under the impression that whatever the land up there is going to thaw, and all these minerals are going to come out, and they already got a trade route. I think they're trying to build through the northern part of Russia, and maybe since this guy put hashtag Greenland, maybe that's why DJT and others are looking for Greenland. Because if this theory is real, then Greenland would fall off, I guess. And whatever these minerals are that are there, it'd be easier to get. So you look up that about Russia, looking about that, and they're moving people. They're asking people to move up into the northern parts and things like that. I saw that a couple months ago. I think they were trying to put like a city together. Check it out. It's something I don't know much about, but it might be something of interest for y'all to look at. Here is Dr. Sam Bailey, who's great. I love her stuff. And if you don't know much about her, she goes after the germ theory versus not climate theory. Germ theory versus, I just went stupid. Just tell you how great she is. And I totally forget the main thing. Terrain theory. Germ theory meaning germs. Terrain theory mirroring your bodies and good health so you don't get sick and sense. And in this, she's talking about the alpha-gal syndrome, which is about the ticks you biting people, and then you don't have any, you can't eat meat, and here's the syndromes on it from vomit, rashes, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, runny nose, coughing, sneezing. And it comes out to the point that in the studies that the reaction was something about, they did a study, check it out if you want. And here they don't have it in here, but they used them like Jimmy Dean meat, and apparently it comes to if you're inside your terrain isn't up to par, you can have some bad venison, bad meat, bad this, and have the same problems. So they come out going, maybe it's not this, they're not the tick. It's a convenient thing that this tick thing came out. They're using it. When in all cases, it was like here, activity, alcohol consumption, exercise have profound influence on reactivity. Some patients appear to have reactions that require cofactors in this alpha-gal syndrome. So mainly it's like if your body's terrible and you're eating junk, maybe you're already going to have an adverse side effect to it because of the way your body is, instead of blaming it on this tick thing. It's and she backs it up. This is from the research too. Check it out. It's something good to think of. Massive explosion and fire at an oil company near Roseland, Louisiana. Fiery mushroom cloud erupts. Watch shocking moment. Mandatory evac underway. Schmitty's supply distributed oil lubricant across these United States. U.S. House adds CBDC ban to massive defense policy bill. U.S. House added provision banning the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal nor has reserves, from issuing a CBDC, central bank digital currency, into an almost 1,300-page bill setting the country's defense policy for the 2026 fiscal year. Great googly moogly about how big that is. The revision of H.R. 3838, the House version of the bill implementing the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA if you're nasty, was shared on Thursday by the House Rules Committee, including a sweeping language banning the Federal Reserve from studying or creating a digital currency. The House passed a similar Republican-backed bill, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, in July with a slim vote of 219, 210, which now has an uncertain future in the Senate. The NDAA and related appropriation bills are seen as must-pass national security legislation as they outline how the military will be funded and how they will spend its budget. Now, the House leaders promised a CBDC ban and defense bill. Top Republicans, House Republicans have promised to include a CBDC ban in the military spending bill in a deal with conservative hardliners in July. Here's one of the examples of that. Now, a CBDC bill died last Congress. House Republicans have been looking to ban CBDCs for some time. The party's House leaders had looked to pass a version of the CBDC banning bill in the last congressional session. A similarly named bill called the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act was introduced by Representative Tom Emmer in early 2023, but it didn't progress and died with the last Congress. So he reintroduced the bill in the current Congress. So we shall see. I don't know what that will do with stable coins, though. Cracker Barrel's board should fire its CEO immediately. Cracker Barrel is still the talk of everyone around the water cooler today. You know what the deal is. If you've been alive, you've seen it, you understand what's going on. Good. Now I haven't been around a Cracker Barrel in years, and there's not one anywhere near me. But I mean, yeah, whatever. Video games at 30,000 feet. Starlink's airline rollout is making a reality. In-flight Wi-Fi has long been notorious for being slow, spotty, and expensive. Well, that's until Elon Musk with SpaceX Starlink entered the skies 3 years ago. Thank you, Elon Musk, for bringing us your technocratic world. Now, the low orbit satellite has ignited a race among airlines to install high-speed, low-latency terminals, transforming the passenger experience. Now, gaming or even logging into Bloomberg terminal mid-flight is possible. Yay! Let's go into War Pig news. IDF database: 83% of Gaza dead are civilians. Thank you. IDF killed 70 Palestinians in Gaza over 24 hours. Putin's conditions for peace deal with Ukraine. Israeli drones pound South Lebanon. 1 killed. Russia, India set $1 billion trade target. Speaking of that, India, Russia set $1 billion trade target despite U.S. pushback. The Indian External Affairs Minister is in Moscow for 3 days of talks focusing on economic cooperation. Development, if you're living under a rock or what, decide to eat at Waffle House instead of Cracker Barrel. No idea what's going on. FBI raids John Bolton's house. In a dawn operation, FBI agents descend on the home of former Trump's national security advisor. I mean, he is a terrible human being. Pray for his soul, please. But this is kind of how went down. Trump's second term is a retribution presidency, said John Bolton not too long ago. It was this past Sunday, on ABC's This Week. Yeah, accused him of that in his second term. Before you go, we're about to talk about Trump's retribution campaign. We're seeing at the FBI and the Justice Department. You're obviously on his enemies list, at least Kash Patel's enemies list. Are you worried that they're going to come after you in some way? I mean, he's hinted at it before. Yes, and then MAGA celebrates John Bolton's home being raided. How does it feel? I don't think we should ever celebrate that, because eventually the other team, quote unquote, when there's a fake left and a fake right, when the fake other team, when the Cokes take over for the Pepsis, and they do this to you, I'm not sure you're going to like that, even though they've already done that. But still, that's the bad precedent. Vance denies the FBI is investigating John Bolton because he's a Trump critic. J.D. Thiel told NBC News Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker in an exclusive interview Friday that the FBI would be careful in its investigation. Sure, it will be. Sex offender Ghislaine Maxwell reveals how she met extraordinary Trump as she seeks his pardon. The imprisoned sex trafficker lauded Trump unprompted, of course, for becoming the president, described the 34-time, I'm not a fan of that part, as a perfect gentleman. Justice Department on Friday released the transcripts of the July interviews with Ghislaine Maxwell, the former girlfriend, convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein, who served in a 20-year, blah, blah, you know the deal. The move to release the transcripts came after Maxwell was transferred to a lower security country club prison in Texas earlier this month, which once a future President DJT claimed that she knew nothing about. Robert Hood, a warden of Super Maximum Prison in Colorado, told the Washington Compost that someone gave special preference to Maxwell that, to my knowledge, no other inmate currently in the Federal Bureau of Prisons has received. In the interviews, among other topics, Maxwell played down her relationship with Trump and claimed that she never observed him receiving a massage. She also held praise onto him without being prompted, lauding his extraordinary achievement for becoming president, and called Trump, who had her arrested while she was president in his first term. If anybody's listening, going, wait a minute, he threw you in jail. Who was found laudable for sexual abuse of writer E. Jean Carroll, who has been accused of rape, sexual assault, and harassment by at least 25 women since the 70s. Perfect gentleman. Trump has never been identified as a subject criminal, blah, 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 blah. You can read it again. You can look at it more. There's been some highlights on the, as far as I'm concerned, Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me. You're not going to get much on it. Not that we were thinking about it, anything was going to come out, because again, the best way they should have done this was put her in front of Congress and just wing it. But now everyone's going to be questioning how authentic all this is. Live updates. Justice Department releases transcript and audio of Ghislaine Maxwell interview. Again, everything below is in the show notes, or everything on the screen that you're looking at is in the show notes. Kash Patel ordered Bolton's FBI raid on Epstein Files release day. I guess it's now like a festival. Hey, it's Epstein Files release day. Here's Forbes. Elon Musk XAI published hundreds of thousands of Grok chatbot conversations. XAI made people's conversations with his chatbot public and searchable on Google without warning, including a detailed plan for the assassination of said Elon Musk and explicit instructions for making fentanyl and bombs. Here's some DNYUZ. Is Trump a socialist? For decades, a core part of the Republican Party's identity was the wholehearted embrace of free market capitalism. Adam Smith's invisible hand of the market was understood to be infinitely preferable to government meddling. Lately, though, once a future king, President DJT, has been having second thoughts. Forget the invisible hand. What about Trump's hand? The second Trump administration has cut the revenue sharing agreement with Nvidia. It's taken partial control of U.S. Steel. It's considering taking a stake in Intel. It actually did 10% today. And it's created a loyalty ranking system for U.S. companies. And did we mention that Trump has also taken to browbeating companies into not raising their prices in response to tariffs? Greg Gibb calls it state capitalism with American characteristics, a nod to the Chinese Communist Party's socialism with Chinese characteristics. Free market fans aren't happy. Neither are most Democrats. There's one voice and there's one but small but vocal faction in U.S. politics that historically been open for this kind of intervention. So Today Explained gave a prominent member of that group a call to get his thoughts. Okay, now my point is most everyone in D.C. and pretty much every level of government is a socialist. And most conservatives are at least open to socialism. I mean, when you see someone do the pledge, that was penned by a socialist. Let's be honest here. Florida judge orders dismantling of alligator Alcatraz. Trump hints at federal crackdown in Chicago amid anti-crime push in D.C. Chicago's a mess. Now, like we said before, he can do what he did in D.C. because He's in D.C., and that's part of the agreement with D.C. and the federal government. He cannot do that in Chicago. He can hint at the possibility of taking D.C. The crackdown in Chicago. He has zero authority to do it. That's an Illinois thing. If Illinois wants to do that, Illinois can do that. I would love to see Illinois find federalism for the first time in quite some time and tell them, don't cross, get off our lawn, in a sense. Trump, we will straighten out Chicago just like D.C. Chicago is dangerous. Chicago is dangerous. Not the power of the federal government. Sorry. Both San Francisco and New York City are also on Trump's radar to surge feds and National Guard. Look what the Democrats have done to San Francisco. They have destroyed it. Yes, they have. Not the power federal government. Not your monkey, as one priest says. Military lawyers to handle civilian crimes in D.C. What could go wrong there? World's most popular painkiller may increase risk of autism and ADHD. Harvard experts warn this could have major public health implications. Sure, don't say. Pregnant women should only take paracetamol on the advice of a doctor. Harvard scientists have warned amid fears that the common painkiller could raise the risk of autism and ADHD in their children. It's also known as acetaminophen and also sold under the brand name Tylenol in the U.S. Again, try to cut off that stuff and do stuff that are natural. Like yarrow is supposed to help out with headaches. There are painkiller, even like the toothache. I got a toothache plant growing in the back. We don't have any toothaches. Still, it's pretty to look at. It looks like a gumball. But you can grow your own pain medicine as well, especially it doesn't hurt the liver, which a lot of these things do. Powell indicates conditions may warrant interest rate cuts as Fed proceeds carefully. Fed Chair Jerome Powell on Friday gave a tepid indication of possible interest rates cuts ahead as he noted a high level of uncertainty that is making the job difficult for monetary policymakers. With policy to restrict the territory, the baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risk may warrant adjusting our policy stance, he said during his annual address to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Won't do anything, but yeah. U.S. government finalizes deal for 10% equity stake in Intel, will release $8.87 billion in funding. And you can see where's Lutnick at. There is Howard Lutnick. He helped the technocrat himself. Congratulations, Howard Technocrat Lutnick. Oh, he's okay. He's a DJ. He's part of the MAGA, so he's fine. He's a good technocrat. Nope, he's a terrible guy. Big news: the U.S. of A. now owns 10% of Intel, one of our great American technology companies. Historic agreement strengthens U.S. leadership in semiconductors, which will grow our economy and help secure American technological edge. Yay! No. Meta to unveil Hypernova smart glasses with a display wristband at Connect next month. Meta is set to launch 2 new smart glasses at its annual Connect Developers Conference in September. It'll cost about $800 each. Don't get these ever, please. We talked about this last month. Putin demands Ukraine surrender Donbass, give up NATO ambitions, and keep Western troops out of the country. Is the Trump administration building up a military confrontation with Venezuela? A major increase in U.S. naval forces in the South Caribbean Sea has been underway since once a future king, President DJT, signed a directive targeting some cartels. And I'll wrap it up with some good news. Ohio, the raw milk revolution incoming. A new bill, HB 406, will legalize direct farm-to-consumer raw milk sales. No more herd shares, no more middleman, just clean local milk straight from the source. Support Ohio farmers. Support HB 406. Bill will legalize direct sales of raw milk. That is some good news because all the health problems, you could get a lot of good health fixes up if you start drinking the real stuff. Tell your local Ohioan to help support that. Act locally, think locally. Ohioans, get active. Anyway, God love you. I'm going to go eat dinner. Sorry for the rushed out a little bit. Hit like, subscribe, all that jazz. I hit the wrong button in a hurry. There he is right there. Comment below. Check out the sermons. I put it up in the community tab for today. Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Thank you for your time. Check out sensusfidelium.tv for your app. And also, you've seen at the bottom, Real Estate for Life. If you're buying a house, check out Real Estate for Life. God love you. Have a great rest of the day. See you on Monday.